Part of the blessing and the curse of my path is that I'm here, at least more so in the past, to learn things the hard way and then gain the wisdom from that to then be able to share it with people to help them learn it an easier way. And of course, sometimes there's only what seems like the hard way, and we have to honor that and be as gentle as we can within it. But when I first started my path, I was just really, really thirsty and voraciously learning and practicing and evoking a lot of this latent trauma and old wounds. And it got to a place where I was just really emotionally raw a lot of the time and taxing my system, and thought that, more intense releases and big emotions were better, because it was something that we could see, and tears were coming out of my eyes, and I was shaking, and I was screaming and getting out anger. And I realized that there's another way. And not just that there's another way and we can do this way or we can do the other way that's more harsh, but that the harsh way creates collateral damage. So we may be seemingly letting go of some emotion, but if we're raging and we're disconnected from our body and our experience, there's other parts of us that are getting kind of freaked out by how intense we're having this experience. And so it gets pretty nuanced about all the different parts of us and the parts that get reactive to other parts, and kind of not diving into all the potential complexity of that. It's important to understand that we each have a window of tolerance, and that window of tolerance of emotional intensity or witnessing or perceiving previously unconscious material allows us to stay present in our body. Even if there's emotional stuff that's coming up, we can stay present, maybe intense, but we can breathe, and we're not disassociating, we're not leaving our body, we're relatively grounded, and we're able to stay present so that those things that come up into conscious awareness can be healed and integrated back into our greater sense of self. But if we start doing things that go beyond our window of tolerance and we start leaving our body energetically, we start disassociating, then it doesn't actually lead to healing, because we may be letting something go, but we're also creating more damage in another area, and the balance sheet doesn't work out so well. And of course, it's not that linear, but I've just seen a lot of people, including myself, think that big releases and loud expressions of anger or whatever is what's needed. And the more and more that I use gentleness, the more I realize that some parts of us can simply not come to the surface of our awareness if we're too intense or harsh with what's happening. And not only does our gentleness bring those parts to the surface, it also allows them to be bathed with awareness and warmth and ease to be able to integrate without creating further disruptions or energetic scar tissue in other areas. And so there's a term in trauma therapy specifically called pendulation. And as the word implies, we pendulate, or we swing towards an experience. Maybe somebody triggers us, or maybe we read something, or there's an evocative experience that comes up from a meditation I'm leading, or that you're listening to that somebody else is leading. And it starts to activate our system. Our heart rate starts to go up. We begin to get anxious. We begin to feel more activated in our nervous system. And nothing needs to be, you don't need to push down your window of tolerance that's getting activated, that's getting over full, in the name of healing. You're not doing yourself a favor by just grunting it out and being with it no matter what. I'm just devoted, I'm going to be here no matter what. If you're out of your body, or other parts in you are freaking out because it's too intense, you're violent to yourself and you're creating more damage. And so when something comes up and you start to get activated, I would really encourage you to check in. Are you still present? Are you still in your window of tolerance? And if you're not, pause the meditation, leave the conversation, put down the book, lay down onto your back, breathe into your belly, and start to regain your sense of presence with your body. And that trauma field, that unconscious belief, it's still going to be there. It's not going anywhere. And the more that you give yourself this respect and you honor the gentleness that's needed for certain really sensitive parts of you, more of these parts begin to come to the surface because they begin to trust that you're going to steward them with the care that they need to heal. And if you're really devoted towards healing, it's important to realize that when you're healing and you're creating more damage through aggressive ways of being with yourself, that you're not healing anymore. You need to back off. And that degree of swinging forward to intensity and moving back until you get back in your window of tolerance is so important as you go deeper and deeper in your karmic journey, so that you can be an expression of kindness and an expression of healing in all the ways in which you relate to yourself and to other people.